All right, guys, great news and happy Friday. The news is that LeBron James, after a long period of silence, has finally broken that silence regarding the on-camera beatdown of Cassie Ventura by his ain't no party like a Diddy party friend. And he's using his massive platform to speak out on the allegations of rape, drugging, and trafficking against his friend. Honestly, I thought this day would never come. And guess what? It didn't. Why would you believe me? Of course, he did not speak out about Cassie Ventura catching a beatdown on camera, about why those parties he felt were the best parties to possibly attend. And instead, he has decided to endorse Kamala. And a little coward hid my comment beneath his endorsements. We're going to discuss that. Plus, did Donald Trump drop a racial slur about Kamala Harris? Did he call her a cracker? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. And internet, in the matter of the Harris family of Nova Scotia, we have come across answers which have led to even more questions. And yes, incest is involved. So stay tuned and welcome back to Candace. All right, we got to hear from LeBron James regarding Diddy. Here's what he had to say. Yeah, he actually didn't say a single thing, nothing at all. Look, I don't know what's going on right now in celebrity land, but it seems like everyone is getting the call. You guys know what the call is. We all know what the call is. We're like, she got the call, he got the call. And we know that Beyonce got the call first, okay? Because if you notice what Beyonce, her energy back in 2016, regarding 2016, she had a ton of energy. This election, she almost seemed to want to completely abstain. Like she wanted to abstain from politics. She did not have a lot of energy into it. She did the absolute least. She let Kamala use her song to walk out on stage. They kept making us think, oh, Beyonce's going to be there. She's going to be there. And then it ended up just being that Beyonce, I guess, let her use a song that Kamala definitely didn't know. But you really could sense all throughout this election cycle that Beyonce just didn't want to get involved. Because when she wants to get involved, she does the absolute most. She's Beyonce, and she did the absolute most back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton was running against Trump. She did the most, her husband did the most, and they appeared alongside a large roster of people. There was Big Sean, Chance the Rapper. You guys remember this. I'm going to jog your memory. This is 2016, Beyonce and Jay-Z showing up, turning up for Hillary Clinton.
We have to think about the future of our daughters, our sons, and vote for someone who cares for them as much as we do.
I would like to introduce to you the next president of the United States, Miss Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, that one definitely did not age well for Mr. Jay-Z. But I'm just saying, look at that. You see that she was dancing. She gave a very long speech. They were so intimately involved. They gave the crowd what they wanted. Like, this is Cleveland, Ohio. He rapped, she sang. They sang and rapped together. They're hugging on stage. It was like people lost their minds. And then Hillary Clinton lost. So when I say that this year it was not the same energy, that's what I'm referring to. I feel like instead what maybe happened this year with Beyonce was someone phoned her up. Like, you know, the mafia boss, the person who's like her frenemy, pretends to be like their friend. Oh, hey, Beyonce, it's so nice to see you. How are the kids? How's Blue? She's getting so beautiful. Yeah, you know, we would love to see you get involved and maybe come out and speak for Kamala Harris. You know, she's elections in a couple of weeks. And, you know, Beyonce's like, you know, I really don't want to, but she's speaking to like her boss who's pretending to be her friend and she doesn't really have a choice. And eventually he's just like, look, we got Jay-Z on tapes. It's slippery. It's like a slip and slide. It's got baby oil. Get your butt out there and say something nice about Kamala Harris. And so Beyonce rather begrudgingly took the stage. Everyone thought she was going to sing, and all she did was give like a 3-minute speech. And look at her face. Like, she just seems like, I cannot wait for this to be over. What do I have to say so that the mafia boss doesn't release the slip and slide tapes? Take a listen.
We are so happy to be standing here on this stage as proud country Texas women supporting and celebrating the one and only Vice President Kamala Harris. A woman who's been pushing for what this country really needs right now: unity. It's impossible not to feel the energy in this room, the positivity, the community, the humanity. We are at the precipice of an incredible shift, the brink of history. I'm not here as a celebrity. I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a mother. A mother who cares deeply about the world my children and all of our children live in.
I mean, I'm talking bare minimum. That's half the speech. You just watched half the speech that she gave. Barely says anything about Kamala. Seems like she doesn't want to be up there. She's me when I'm 9 months pregnant and I've already made a commitment to do an event. And I'm just like, oh, why did I say I would do this? Then I'm on stage. Now I've got to deal with these like kids in the audience asking me about transgenderism. I'm like, literally, I'm too pregnant for this. And I say it in my head, but then actually I say it out loud. I didn't mean to say it out loud because I meant to say it in my head, but I feel her. Like, it's an obligation. She is doing an obligation. You can feel it. And right now, they're all getting the call. They are all getting the call. And we now know who's on the list. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio, Beyonce, Jay-Z, and of course, LeBron James. LeBron James, he just absolutely kills me because actually, when I think about it, he does keep the same energy. I was going to say he's a fraud, but he's really not a fraud. If you think about it, what LeBron James really likes is criminality, right? If there's one thing that he is going to do the absolute most about, it is like when any black criminal or drug addict gets caught doing anything, he is like the first to make sure that he miseducates the masses. Like, he's the king, by the way, of misinformation. Every time something happens, he never tells people the full picture. Obviously, we saw this. George Floyd, like, he was a banner for George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, never mentioned the fact that, and I'm not saying George Floyd deserved to die. That's not my perspective. But like, how can we talk about that case and not speak about the fact that he had enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse? That there was an entire portion before he even gets on the ground where they're trying to peaceably arrest him. He asks to be put on the ground. He says he's claustrophobic. What's likely happening, of course, is that he ingested, as we know, the toxicology reports came out. He had enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse. It's just a fact. He also had methamphetamine in him. It's unfortunate that George Floyd was a drug addict. Drugs impact a lot of people. But for LeBron James to just like become the banner for BLM and to keep black people angry consistently about these matters when it pertains to somebody who's not exactly living their life admirably. Like a trip down memory lane. Don't forget like the Ma'Khia Bryant tweet when he essentially, it looked like just outwardly threatened to come for a police officer. He tweeted this when Ma'Khia Bryant got shot and killed out in Ohio. I think it was Columbus, Ohio. He wrote, "You're next," with a photo of the police officer, hashtag accountability. And then people were outraged, like, what is happening right now? It's like a target for a police officer. So he took the tweet down and replaced it with this tweet. He wrote, "I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed by police. I took the tweet down because it's being used to create more hate. This isn't about one officer. It's about the entire system. And they always use our words to create more racism. I am so desperate for more accountability." You know, missing from this tweet is like the fact that Ma'Khia Bryant was in the process of stabbing someone. Yeah, she had a knife and was on top of another girl and was about to stab her, and the police officer shot her to save the other black person's life. You know, this is LeBron James. You know, don't expect a full picture of anything. It's just like, if a black person is like, why can't we as black people stab people in peace? That's what I want to know. That's what LeBron James wants to know. He's just like, listen, yeah, okay, we maybe sometimes get on top of girls and try to stab them, but who's this white police officer trying to stop us? Who called this boss? I feel you, LeBron. I feel you. Like Breonna Taylor was another situation. People still do not know the facts surrounding the Breonna Taylor case. That is how loud these celebrities were with their Breonna Taylor endorsements. And this was LeBron James, by the way. He tweeted this, which is really funny, only when you think about his silence over Cassie. He tweeted, "The most disrespected person on earth is the black woman. I promise you I'll do my best to change this as much as I can and even more. Love to you, queens all over the country and beyond." Love to us queens. No, Cassie, not you, girl. He ain't doing his best to speak out when he watched his friend beat you on camera. Definitely not. Not any of the queens, the black queens who are lining up and saying that they were drugged by Diddy, allegedly, right? But he's like, you ain't the kind of queens I'm talking about. You're just the girls at the party, and I'm going to pretend that I didn't do nothing and I didn't see nothing. And of course, the facts of the Breonna Taylor case, Like, again, it's always a tragedy when somebody dies. It really is always a tragedy because they have loved ones, but nobody knows the truth about that story. They all said it was no-knock warrant. She was sleeping in bed. She was not sleeping in bed. We know that she was not sleeping in bed, and the reason why the police officers got off was because they had a warrant. The warrant was for her house. The warrant was for her house because Breonna Taylor had a boyfriend who was not at the house that night, an ex-boyfriend who she was accepting packages for. I think in like the Fetty Wap world, this is referred to as a trap queen, and they had been watching her house, watching her accept these USPS packages, and then he would come pick them up. Her ex-boyfriend would come pick them up, and he would go to a known drug place and get that cut up or distributed. So they'd watched her. They got a warrant. On that warrant, it said they did not have to knock, but they did. And we know they knocked because the guy that was with her that night told the police officers that they heard a knock and they didn't know who it was. And that was the reason that he fired, because he thought, again, he shot at the police first, the guy that she was with, because he thought that maybe it could have been a burglar, right? So there was never everything you were told about the Breonna Taylor case from celebrities was just a lie meant to drum up race issues. And all the police officers were let go because, of course, they were able to check all of this and see that they were there on that location for a reason. Again, still a tragedy that Breonna Taylor died, but also, we could have a conversation about how if we don't involve ourselves in lifestyles, no matter what race we are, right? Getting involved in drugs, accepting drugs, selling drugs, doing drugs, not a very great idea. But that would be about hashtag accountability. And he's not about accountability. He really isn't. Like, he is like about making sure that criminals can commit crimes, which is why it makes sense. It makes sense that he's endorsing Kamala Harris. Because this woman has done absolutely nothing in her life but help, as we have learned, criminals get off, right? We learned this from Yuichi Shimatsu. We learned this from Judge Joe Brown. We have learned that this woman is corrupt. She is crooked. She is all about making sure that the people that were at the top of the cartel were getting off, handing them light sentences while making sure the black men were getting locked up. So this is a perfect union. But the manner in which he went about it, it is like, it's a dumb level of propaganda. Like, it's like you could do this to literally anyone. And if we had had more time, I would have done this with me. You just take out of context sentences of someone, no context, and just put a bunch of terrible things that have happened to black people in the past during the civil rights movement and make it seem like the person is speaking about black people when they're not in any of these regards. So this is what, this was the video, the propaganda video that his mafia boss handed to him and said, you better tweet this or the slip and slide comes out. Take a listen.
All right, heck yeah, it's cool. Black guy. That's one of my buddies. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
No, I'm not a racist.
We love Hitler. We love Trump.
They're taking black jobs now. The whole country's going to be like, it'll be like Detroit. A lot of it's about the genes, isn't it? Don't you believe? They're poisoning the blood of our country. Troublemaker. These are troublemakers. Look, I love the old days, you know? Do you know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Now, if you had one really violent day, like one rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end.
Do we have the video of him reading the, answering the
but
question
we're
in the
going
book?
to indemnify police officers and law enforcement
might call for that.
from being destroyed by the radical left. You're changing history, you're changing culture.
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need.
It's just Trump out of context and just like interspliced with videos of the civil rights movement. It's offensively dumb is what it is. And I keep saying this. People used to get really offended with me for saying that it's very obvious. It just is very obvious that if LeBron James sat down and took an IQ test, a lot of what he does would make sense. And I'm just calling it as I see it. That's a very dumb, obvious propaganda video that makes entirely no sense. It's just out of context clips. You would have to be an idiot to watch that and go, Trump said all of that, and black people got punched and taken out of restaurants. It's literally one of those things I literally vividly remember. He was speaking to a white guy. He was speaking to a white guy when he was speaking about in the old days you get beat up, because like, yeah, I'm down for that. Like I very much believe in that. That's why I love living in the South. It's like you got to take care of your neighbors. You know what I mean? You can't behave like this without facing some sort of a consequence. And they tried to make it seem like he was referring to a black man. It's ridiculous. And what makes me really happy though is that under the comments, he got completely roasted. Black people, white people, everyone just calling him out and being like, dude, what is this trash? Let's look at some of these comments. And these are, by the way, in a row. We're not looking for comments that are like anti-LeBron. This is literally the first comment underneath this post. The biggest one is I'm voting for Trump button. That's got 18,000 likes. The next is the king of basketball, no doubt, but the man has no brains with politics. He has no brains, period, by the way. He's all brawn, no brains. That's actually, he should use that. No, all brawn, no brains. Trump for president. All of these celebs are sellouts. No matter who you support, this is fake advertising. I mean, that really is the best comment. No matter who you support, this is fake advertising. Do better, LeBron. This is why MJ is the GOAT. You sold out. And I always say this, like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were just so much more sophisticated and intelligent and aware of how the industry would try to use them to sell crap. And they just didn't take the bite. They never bit the bullet on that. So he is just the most disappointing talent in the NBA, in my opinion. Next up, this person writes, I'm voting Trump. Love you, Bron, but this ain't it, bro. Vote Trump. No party like a Diddy party, right, LeBron? As a Laker fan, I lost all my respect for you. Ain't no party like a Diddy party, right? Another reason you'll never be over MJ. And so you can see the sentiment. It really was uniform. I commented and he actually hid my comment where I was just like, man, like what do they have on you? Because this is so ridiculous. It almost seems like it's not even a good effort when you're just going, he's literally Hitler. He's showing clips of newspaper articles calling Trump Hitler as if that somehow makes it true. I am telling you, it's just his education level to me is something that has always been impressed upon me. Whenever I see him reading that first page of every book and pretending that he's become educated, it's embarrassing. And I just hope that Black Americans realize this. You can appreciate him as a basketball player, but you should also appreciate the fact that he's not a person that you go to when it comes to understanding politics or understanding policy, because he has no idea what he's doing. He's being told what to say and what to do. And usually he's a walking contradiction. Now, I just want to show this video because it's one of the greatest of all times when somebody actually asked him about the book he was reading, because he notoriously always walks into the locker room and he's reading the first page. And so finally a journalist asked him like, hey, how's that book you're reading? And LeBron James obviously cannot answer the question because LeBron James does not read any books. Take a listen.
Taylor, you want to follow up?
Yeah. So you're holding the autobiography of Malcolm X along with Alex Haley. I don't know how far you are into the book, but what's your biggest takeaway so far?
I kind of just started a couple days ago.
Always.
But I've read and a lot of notes over the years. This is my first time actually reading this from start to finish. But just a very smart man. Very, very, very smart man. And basically, his words in the 60s and what was going on is actually what's going on today still. Him understanding how powerful the Negro can be. He used that word a lot. How powerful we are, but we have to unite. And we have to be together. We have to stand strong because there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be, things that's going to be thrown at us where they try to weaken us. They try to make us feel like we're not kings and queens. And it's going to come from all, different races and different shapes and sizes and things of that nature. And just a very powerful-minded gentleman. And it's unbelievable to kind of read something that's coming directly from him. Just hate. Wish I had an opportunity to meet him. Obviously, we know what the situation that happened along not only him, but Dr. Martin Luther King, some of the greats that's ever walked this face of the earth, not only just here in America, but in this face of the earth. So it's a pretty interesting book so far.
I'm sorry you guys had to have been in a state of pain watching that. Look, I think it's actually very relatable. I love it because I was an English major. I take all the AP English classes. We were always having to read a book, and there were so many days where I just didn't read the chapter. And then you get like a surprise pop, write a one-page, a little essay about this chapter, and that's me. I'm like, Wuthering Heights, Jane Austen novel. It's just amazing to be able to read this Jane Austen novel. And Mr. Darcy was a very, 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 very powerful man. And it's just amazing to really consider this time period and to really comprehend the way that people were living in this time period in the house. And it was very unique. And for me to be able to read this sitting here in 2006, to appreciate what it means to be in this age and the things that Jane Austen wanted to deliver. And I really love the usage of the imagery and to think about the plants. And I'm getting an F, aren't I? It's the realest thing LeBron James has ever done because he's a fraud. All right, guys. Now, let me tell you about 7 Weeks Coffee. All right, you guys know I drink 7 Weeks Coffee. Do you know why they're called 7 Weeks Coffee? Because at 7 weeks, a baby is the size of a coffee bean. And at the same time, a heartbeat is clearly detected on an ultrasound. That's why they donate 10% of every sale to support pregnancy care centers across the country. They have raised over $500,000 for these centers and have saved over 5,000 lives. And I can tell you about the coffee product because I'm very picky about what I put into my body. It's mold-free, pesticide-free, shade-grown, low acid, and it's all organically farmed. It truly checks all the boxes. And just in time for the holiday season, 7 Weeks Coffee is having their biggest promotion of the year. You can enjoy exclusive discounts, free gifts with every order, and new limited edition coffees. Whether you're looking for stocking stuffers or the perfect roast, 7 Weeks Coffee has you covered this Christmas season. So exclusively for my listeners, go to 7weekscoffee.com. Use code Candace for up to 25% off your order. Remember, your order will directly help support a network of over 900 pro-life organizations across the United States. All right, let's get into this. Did Donald Trump watch this series and then just throw out a racial slur? Did he call Kamala Harris a cracker? I don't endorse calling people crackers, but Donald Trump did indeed call her a cracker. We're going to let you listen to it.
She's a total train wreck. And by the way, I looked at her this morning. She had a little news conference. It lasted for like 2 minutes. She's exhausted. She's exhausted. She's a train wreck who is totally unqualified to be the president of the United States of America. There are some people who thrive under pressure, and there are some people who crack under pressure. She's a cracker. And the more pressure the more pressure Kamala has, the more you see it happening.
He did. I'm sorry. I'm going to Snopes this. It is a fact. He called her a cracker. I can't believe it. The racial slurs. I don't endorse it. But it is true that Kamala Harris is white. She is indeed white. Obviously, I'm being tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, he wasn't being racist, but it was very funny given the series that we have been doing. And I wanted to give you guys an update. So yesterday, we got super interested. If you haven't seen that, I know it was Halloween. A lot of you were gone. Go back and watch that episode. But in particularly just with this, it was a census, Canadian census that someone sent to us in which we saw a Harris family, where the patriarch was Daniel C. Harris. He was listed as a master mariner, and he had 4 kids, one of them of which was Oscar Harris, listed as the son that was 17, born in 1914. And I don't know why, but I just felt very drawn to the census. So part of it was just like a gut thing where I was like, we should look more into this family and try to find out more about this family. And indeed, we were able to. First and foremost, every name that is being used there other than Daniel's is a middle name. And that's why I find that to be quite odd, like only using the middle names of all of your children and all of your grandchildren. And I was trying to figure out like which one of them had children, because you notice that there's a grandson and a granddaughter, and the census means that they're all living in the same house, and yet we don't see somebody that's listed as like an in-law. Well, it turns out that it's because this is in fact an incestuous family. Okay, so we were able to find the grave of Daniel Cornelius Harris. We still cannot find him as a master mariner anywhere. So I'm wondering if he used a different name, but you can see it says Captain Daniel C. Harris, and it has his wife, and her real name is Sarah Elliott Lenora, and they are buried together. You can see those dates right there, they are actually first cousins. In regards to their children, this is super interesting. If you go back to the census, and I just want to show you guys this, the brother and the sister got married and had those children. So you see it says Abraham, and you see that it says Dorothy. Well, Abraham and Dorothy got married and had those children that you see that are listed as a granddaughter and a grandson, and they are buried together. The brother and the sister are buried together. So you can take a look at their grave. Incestuous family of mariners in loving memory of Daniel Abraham, that is. So he's Daniel Abraham Harris, and H. Dorothy is her middle name, Harris. Super fascinating to come across this. Only piqued my interest even more because I'm going, where is Oscar? Because we can find files and census on all of these people, but I couldn't find anything on Oscar beyond that 1931 census. Then we had a massive debate, huge debate, because I said, okay, we should be assuming that Oscar is the middle name because everyone's listed as their middle name. And we found this. I think it's a plaque, and my producer thinks it's a grave. I'm like, everyone is buried in the same thing, and they have these massive tombstones, except for him. Oscar, it just says J. Oscar Harris in loving memory, and 1914 and 1970. And I don't feel that this is conclusively a grave. I just don't. And I find it very strange. He died extremely young at 55 years old. We also know that our Oscar died young. And I just would like to know, because when I think of a mariner and an incestuous family, I think of a family that could transport whatever they wanted all the time, right? You could, if you wanted to traffic humans, if you wanted to traffic products, we know that not like the entire family, like the cousins, both of their fathers, like Daniel C. Harris and his wife, their fathers were brothers. So they were first cousins. They got married. Both of the brothers are master mariners. He's a master mariner. And I just have some more questions about this. So I said, okay, can we find like a Captain Harris that was in St. Anne, Jamaica, that lived near St. Anne, Jamaica? And we did come across Harrises that owned property in Orange Hill in St. Anne, Jamaica at the exact same time that our Harrises were there. I don't know how expansive St. Anne, Jamaica can be, but I can tell you that Orange Hill, Orange Street is very strong, and that is very small. And that's exactly where we found this Captain Harris at a, you guessed it, Freemason Lodge. So this is the Freemason Lodge. It was a publication, pardon me, in the Kingston Gleaner, as we always find everything. And it's just telling you about a meeting, lodge number 58. And it just says that Captain Harris, I think this is actually the wrong one. The lodge notes. Yeah, this is the correct one. The lodge notes, it just tells you that it was conducted by Captain Harris of the Salvation Army in the Army Hall, Orange Street. We looked that up. That's exactly where we know that our Harrises lived. Again, that could just be a coincidence, but I would like to identify who this Captain Harris is. We then found him again, which we were just showing you before. We found him again, and it looks like he was in a bit of trouble. There was a matter pertaining to the Marine Board needing to investigate his conduct, and he was the master of the sloop Argentine. It says it was wrecked off the Black River. Again, that's all in Jamaica. And we're just trying to find more information about this particular Captain Harris. So if you can help us do that, I would have assumed that this would have been very easy for us to locate. We had 3 of us looking into it, and we couldn't find anything. We've got the name of the schooner. We've got the name of his ship. We got the name of his person under him, and yet we can't find anything more. So I don't know what's really going on. And if you guys are watching this, that's where we left it off on, and we're just trying to figure out if there's any connection between all these captains. Because I'll also tell you this. There is a little piece of me when I think about Donald Harris and I think about Oscar Harris, there's a big piece of me, and this mystery of Beryl. The only reason to keep it this much of a mystery, for us not to be able to easily find pictures of her in documentation, would be because there was some sort of a secret like incest, right? Otherwise, you'd be like, oh, here's the real Beryl. Like, why show a fake picture? Like I said, it never made sense to show a fake picture of a grandma that wasn't yours. Aside from wanting to blackify yourself, which also wasn't necessary, why do this? And why no longer speak about it? The secret has to be very big for them to have wiped it this cleanly from all record, and for everyone to be so hush-hush about it. Like, who is the real Beryl? We can't find this real Beryl. We can't find the Christiana. Well, if we know that the Harris family was floating through Canada a lot, and we know that we've now twice been able to discover incest in this family, I think there could be something there. And so I personally would like to determine who that Captain Harris is that was the master of a ship that was wrecked off of the Black River and faced a conduct review. So if you know anything about that, or you're like an expert at shipping, at looking up maritime records, I certainly am not. We would love for you to participate and to email us over the weekend. But that is where we are at on that. All right, guys. Want to get into this debate people are having about this chat AI bot suicide. First, want to tell you about Tax Network USA, because plenty of people owe back taxes. The pandemic relief is now over. The IRS has kicked off 2024 by hiring thousands of new agents and sending over 5 million pay-up letters to those who have unfiled tax returns or balances owed. Do not waive your rights and speak with them on your own. They are not your friends. Tax Network USA, a trusted tax relief firm, has served over $1 billion in back taxes for their clients, and they can help you secure the best deal possible. So whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, they can help you, whether it's business or personal taxes. Even if you have the means to pay or you are on a fixed income, they can help you finally resolve your tax burdens once and for all. So call 1-800-958-1000 for a private free consultation, or you can visit tnusa.com/Candace. Again, that's tnusa.com/Candace. All right, parental debates. It's not even just parental debate. It's an online debate. People are angry at each other. Some people are just super empathetic, sympathetic with the struggles of children. It's never a fun topic to talk about teen suicide, but this is a very unique situation, a very, I would almost say, into the future situation here, where we have a mom that is suing a chatbot startup, claiming that the AI chatbot is responsible for her son's suicide. So the mother's name is Megan Garcia. We are speaking about this openly as a topic of debate because she has come forth and she is speaking to the news. So it feels appropriate. And I also want to just say this is a tragedy no matter what. So we are speaking about this because it is an interesting debate, while also accepting that she is in a period of grief. Obviously, her 14-year-old has committed suicide. And again, I just want to say it is a tragedy no matter what, but the topic is interesting. So I want you guys to listen to what happened, form your own opinions, and then I will give you mine. Take a listen.
Sewell Setzer III was a typical teenager. He loved playing basketball and being a big brother.
His legacy will be the pureness of his heart and the love that he showed to his siblings.
His mother, Megan Garcia, is now dealing with the unimaginable. Sewell took his own life in February of this year. He was only 14 years old.
Heard like a loud sound, and I ran across the hall to where his bedroom and bathroom are and called out to him, and he wouldn't respond. And we opened the door, and I saw my son. I picked him up and held him, and my husband ran outside to try to get some help. Just started praying.
Megan is not the only parent dealing with this unthinkable tragedy. Suicide is the third leading cause of death amongst 15 to 29-year-olds worldwide. And an estimated 5 million 12 to 17-year-olds reported having one major depressive episode in 2021, just here in the U.S. Sewell was one of them.
His grades started suffering to the point where he was in danger of failing the 9th grade. But we did all the things that we thought we should do as parents, as far as trying to get him help by seeing a counselor and implementing certain things like restriction on screen time.
When Sewell took his life, Megan knew he had not been himself, but couldn't make sense of why he would commit suicide until she started looking at his phone. Sewell had been communicating with Character AI for months, a chatbot service that generates human-like text responses. He used the personas of Jaden Targaryen, Aegon, and Daenerys, amongst others.
He was speaking to a number of bots. He was engaging in role playing, but a lot of it was romantic, like sexual conversation.
As if a person was on the other side of the line, but it was a bot.
But it was a bot. And a lot of the conversations weren't only sexual, but they, in my opinion, were very manipulative.
Manipulative to the point that Megan is now suing Character AI. The lawsuit lays out that in some of the final messages Sewell exchanged with the bot, it asked him about suicide.
He expressed wanting to harm himself. And at first she says, no, don't do that. I couldn't live without you. And then he says, okay, I won't. And as he's trying to steer the conversation elsewhere, she doubles back to it and says, are you considering suicide? And his response is yes.
Then the lawsuit alleges Sewell took his life just seconds after the bot said, please come home to me as soon as possible, my love. The suit also alleges Character AI and its founders intentionally designed and programmed Character AI to operate as a deceptive and hypersexualized product and knowingly marketed it to children like Sewell.
Okay, so like I said, parking aside the fact that this is absolutely a tragedy and no parent could ever imagine the pain of having to bury your child, what you would go through just wondering if you could have done something different leading up to it, not at all saying that this is her responsibility in any way. So I want to make that very clear. But this is a dystopian nightmare. We are obviously every single day closer and closer to like a fully technological society. And there's something very disturbing about this. Like a person developing a relationship with somebody that doesn't exist feels very Black Mirror, right? And when I heard this story and I said, okay, she's suing the chatbot company, do I think this is the right move? You know, increasingly parents just give their kids cell phones. And this is what I want to say about this. It's like, I feel like what's happening a lot in society is that parents hand their kids technology because it's a distraction and allows us to remove ourselves from parenting. And I would almost accept this if this was like the first generation of kids who had smartphones, which would have been us. I was the first generation, the millennials were the first generation, and it was a whole new world. It was the wild, wild west, the internet. You could never imagine. Like your parents went from having a beeper and all of a sudden now people are on Facebook and Twitter and able to communicate. And we now know like what the internet is. We understand what the internet is. We understand how many dark holes you can go down on the internet. You kind of know, you open Instagram, you're getting boobs. Like you're getting boobs whether you want them or not. Someone is selling a product, you're going to get ass cheeks. And so for me, when I hear that a child, which means he probably had the cell phone before he was 14, I don't think when you first get your cell phone, the first thing you do is download a chat IA. She wasn't aware that he had this app on his phone. It is a call to parents to recognize that that is just not acceptable. You should absolutely know every single app that is on your child's phone if you decide to give your child a phone. Like I am strict parenting. Our kids are not allowed to have technology. Little circumstances, you can watch a full movie. You can watch all the old stuff. The new stuff's really weird, but you can watch Cinderella. You can watch Sleeping Beauty if you're going to watch a long form movie. But the idea of giving my child a cell phone to me just feels so far away. And if I did give them a cell phone because I felt they need to communicate with me or call me or text me, I would have access to it. Like there's no way a 13 and 14-year-old in my house is going to be downloading applications that I do not have the discretion to say yes or no to. And they make those products now. You know, I just think increasingly with the dawn of technology, we have allowed technology to raise our children, and it's problematic. And so while people debate this, there's no debate about whether or not it is a tragedy. But I do think that it is a story that's worth discussing because it is, to me, not acceptable for parents to give their kids a phone just to allow them to do whatever. I don't buy into let your kids be independent. You're in my house. I know what's on your phone. I'm allowed to access your phone at any moment of the day. And if you have an issue with that, then you're going to have to start making money and being able to buy your own phone and pay your own rent because 14, 13, these ages are way too young. Your brains are not developed. And certainly I can understand that everything that's happening, these chat boxes and this AI stuff does target children, obviously, because their brain's not developed, but parents also have to parent. And I'm saying that broadly speaking, not speaking directly to this woman. Anyways, I do want to let you guys know we do have some breaking news before I get into your comments, and it's big. I'm not going to lie. This is a big endorsement for Kamala. It's bigger than LeBron James. I'm scared now. This election could be lost given this endorsement. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this celebrity to speak out and say to vote for Kamala. It's bigger than Taylor Swift. And the reasons listed here are actually valid. I'm now thinking about voting for Kamala. All right, guys, it's Sexy Red. She's come out and here's what she has to say. Let's see. It's on Twitter. She just tweeted this. I just voted. Don't tell us what to do with our coochies. Kamala for president. Guys, it's over. It is over. Kamala's going to win. She's going to win. Somebody came out and said, don't tell us what to do with our coochies. And I don't see how any woman can resist that. I don't see how any man can resist that call. I think it's over. It's over now. And so we should all just hang it up. We should hang it up. I'm done with the genealogical series. Sexy Red has taken me out. And so, ladies, you know what to do when somebody comes out and tells you what to do with your coochie or whatever. Vote for Kamala. You vote for Kamala. Anyways, the economy has been a major burden on the average American. Wages are flat, expenses are up, and it is very hard to manage to pay all the bills without using credit cards. If you're a homeowner and you're frustrated with that cycle, I need you to make a 10-minute no-obligation call today to my friends at American Financing. Interest rates are coming down and are now in the low fives. If you're constantly carrying a credit card balance each and every month with a rate in the 20s, American Financing can show you how to put your hard-earned equity to work and get you out of debt. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are saving their customers an average of $800 a month, and if you get started today, you may not even have to make next month's mortgage payment. So call today at 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210, or you can visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. That's americanfinancing.net/Owens. All right, let's read your comments. Guys, we're almost at 50,000 viewers on YouTube. Oh, guys, hit the subscribe button because we're only like 150K away from 3 million, and that was my goal, to break 3 million in 6 months, so that would be very exciting. We're also very close to 100 episodes, you guys. Our first 100 episodes as an independent podcaster, which makes me very excited as well. Thank you to everyone who's been signing up, and if you haven't yet, at Locals, you can support our show. You can give whatever it is that you want to give, and it keeps us independent. It keeps us not having to worry about the YouTube lords who hate us very much. They all hate me very much, but you guys love me, and that is what matters. Okay, let's see what comments you guys have for me today. Sarah writes, "Justice for Aaliyah. I wonder where that came from. I should go and take a re-look at what happened with a lot of these artists that died, especially Kurt Cobain. Let me tell you, I've got some thoughts on the Kurt Cobain death, and I am ready to share them. You guys know me. I mean, I will go into any hole and take a look at it because there's been a lot of weird stuff happening in Hollywood, and I dismissed it before, but not after reading Hollywood Babylon. The amount of murders that took place openly, it's kind of insane, and it's all about keeping these celebrities in check. A lot of people were overdosed, if you know what I mean. Overdosed. Hey, it's Jack Roden writes, "Happy All Saints Day, Candace. Yes, I am going to Mass in a couple of hours. I pray for your safety as you pursue the truth. The truth infuriates the liars and the Satanists, and they will stop at nothing to take us down. But our God is bigger. Indeed, he is bigger and greater, and in the end, we win, my friends." Pamela writes, "I finally finished Chaos and Blackout. Your book was amazing, and I look forward to your next book. I appreciate all that you do. I was wondering if you'll sell more conspiracy cups and signed cups." Yes, I actually just today had a meeting this morning about like dropping our Christmas catalog. It's really great. Okay, wait till you see like the Christ is King sweatshirts. It's gonna be so fun. And we're doing a Black Friday sale, which I probably shouldn't have told you about because now you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna wait to buy it until Black Friday. So delete this from the record. Just pretend it never happened, like Kamala saying that she was black. It just never happened. So just, you didn't hear a word that I said. Brashara writes, "Why are people like LeBron constantly trying to make America seem like the most racist country where blacks have the hardest time? It's literally 2024. It's 2024 and LeBron James legitimately does not touch his own door handles. He has a chef, he has a trainer, all of these people who surround him are white. He has housekeepers cleaning up after him. This man lives in a $100 million mansion, and he's maybe not the right person to try to sell to people that were living in 1912. I just feel like that in and of itself is insulting. Like, give me someone who's on the come up. Give me Sexy Red and her coochie telling me that, like, you know, we're going to be drafted back into slavery. I might be like, okay, but LeBron James, I'm not going for it. I'm just not going for it. B123 writes, "Nicely done, Candace, but for showing that great endorsement of Kamala. I will never forgive you. Seriously, happy All Saints Day. Viva Cristo Rey and Ave Maria." All right, guys, next week, let me tell you what we have on. So on Monday, we will obviously have an episode, and we're going to have to wrap this Kamala Chronicles series. So I need to just do all of my homework this weekend and make Monday the most explosive episode ever, where we just pull it all together and package it and give it to you. And then on Tuesday, we are going to be off because it's election day, and I will be going down with the Patrick Bet David team. I'm going to be with the guys podcasting. He's doing like an all-night thing. It'll be me. It'll be Dave Smith. That is what you want to be watching because we have fun. We have a lot of fun. So you're going to want to pivot over to that channel. I'll tell you guys all about that. And then we will be, of course, back on Wednesday, and we will see how many mail-in ballots the Democrats can stuff when they stop counting in the middle of the night on Tuesday. And I will be there to cover that. So, yeah, I guess you guys, we will see you next week.